Hi, my name is Sam Polan. I am running for Congress here in the 9th District. I grew up in Wilmette, Illinois. I went to New Trier High School, and after college I served in the United States Army for 10 years on active duty. I spent 5 years as a special operator, and I've deployed 3 times and achieved the rank of captain. After the military, I moved to the Pentagon as a senior policy and strategy advisor. I used to brief the chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff, as well as the commander of NORAD and U.S. Northern Command. It's a fancy way of saying I used to brief the generals that would then brief the president about 2 hours later. So I've had a lot of experience really high up in that level of government in the national decision-making space, and I am currently running for Congress now because I am not happy with how Congress has reacted to this administration. Congress is meant to be the first among equal branches. They have the authority to override every single executive order and have yet to do so, and they're not even trying to do so. So for me, I don't believe in waiting around for people to do things. I believe if you have the ability, you have the drive, you go do it yourself. That's the first lesson I learned in leadership. We need Congress who has teeth again. We need Congress who understands that our fundamental social contract between people and elected is broken. The government's supposed to handle the really hard things. They're supposed to handle foreign policy. They're supposed to handle security, safety, infrastructure. People are supposed to handle their day-to-day lives. Let's go to work, be a good parent, put food on the table. And right now, we are living in fear of our government. We can't predict pricing. We can't plan for retirement. That contract is broken. We need people who understand that. We need people who can actually speak to and for everyday Americans. And we need people who recognize that the Democratic Party needs to fundamentally change. Otherwise, we will keep losing elections. So I want to take this opportunity to talk about 2 specific pieces of legislation/policy that I would be pushing as a congressman. The first is I think we need to codify what was stripped away when Roe v. Wade was overturned. I think Congress had a wonderful opportunity to call it to a vote, put people on record, and see who actually supports and who's against it. Because the reality is 70% of Americans support codifying access to reproductive health. 70% is not a number to be ignored. Congress needs to do something about that. My idea as a freshman congressman, regardless if it passes or not, is put it on the floor, get people on record on where they stand, and then let their constituencies deal with that. For me, it's a freedom issue. The idea of bodily autonomy and determining your own life, that is a freedom issue. And anyone that thinks otherwise doesn't understand what it means to be an American. For us to say that 50% of our population shouldn't have freedom over their own body makes no sense to me. I also want to talk about something that I would do immediately, and that's repeal the inflationary tariffs. The tariffs only make things unpredictable, they make it harder to budget, they make it almost impossible for people to plan what their dinner and food or businesses are going to go through the next week, month, year. That's not a sustainable way to grow the economy. It actually only hurts our economy. Inflationary tariffs, again, hurt the economy, but here's the other aspect of repealing those tariffs. Our founding fathers wanted Congress to be the first among equal branches. Congress alone has the ability to levy taxes and control interstate commerce. Congress has the authority right now to repeal the tariffs. What that does is helps people with their everyday costs, but what it also does is shows the executive that Congress has authority, capability, and they are actually willing to push back and govern as the first among equal branches.